covered off, and we really thank the Melrose House Chairman for allowing us to be here today. This is, well, it's a most auspicious occasion. This is the 110th anniversary to the day that the armistice was signed on this table. This is the original table, and the inscriptions there who was attended. So we, 110 years later, have come from Australia, descendants and friends of those that were here and fought all those years ago, and we find it most moving to be here, and particularly we like the support of the city of Tshwane, is that close? City of Tshwane. We are very pleased to have the support from the city, and we must thank Imelda to come here today to do the presentation for us, and we thank you very much for that as well, Imelda. We might, what I have to read for you. This is a note from DJ Hurley, AC, DSC, General Chief of the Defence Force. Boer War Day 2012 is called it. It's on the 31st of May, 110 years ago, Australia's first war as a nation ended with the signing of the Peace Treaty of Vereeniging in South Africa. And it is important we commemorate this significant event. The Boer War of 1899 to 1902 was the first time we fought as Australians and not as members of colonial contingents. The characteristics of Australian service men and women were first seen here, cemented in the World War I and tempered in the fire of subsequent conflicts. The Boer War first made the reputation of Australians as determined and resourceful soldiers, able to overcome adversity and adapt to harsh conditions and difficult circumstances. These characteristics and this reputation are still proudly held by current members of the Australian Defence Force, both at home and in operations around the world. It is fitting to remember today, and every other day, the sacrifices of their military ancestors who served the nation so well more than a century ago in South Africa. Chief of Defence Force. What we shall do now is the first person to receive, and the descendants' medallions are presented to those who had a direct descendant that was here. Now I'm going to call Gay Atkinson forward, and then Tom Atkinson, but we'll do it individually. This is in memory of their ancestors, Lieutenant Anthony Forrest, the 16-year-old killed at Grobbelaar Wreck with the 5 Western Australia Mounted Infantry on the 15th of May 1901, and Sergeant Henry Clarkson, who served with the 2nd Western Australia Mounted Infantry, and he was awarded a mention in dispatches on the 2nd of April 1900. Tom Atkinson. His Audrey Bullock, in memory of her ancestors, Major Patrick Savage, a New South Wales Special Service Officer, and Major James Rose, Commander of the 4th West Australian Imperial Bushman. Dr. Graham Barker, in memory of his great-uncle Tom and grandfather Ben Barker, both of whom served with the 2nd New South Wales Mounted Infantry. Tom was killed in action on the 10th of May 1900 at Corona-Fontaine Farm. Colonel Bill Malloy, Reserve Forces Decoration. Bill is a member of the executive of the National Boer War Memorial Association back in Australia, in memory of his grandfather, 2nd Lieutenant Lawrence Malloy. Lawrence Malloy was Transport Officer of the 2nd New South Wales Mounted Rifles.
Just hold it, Bill.
It's just a minute.
Sorry? Oh, thank you.
Just stand still for a moment.
Captain Chris Stokes, RFD. In memory of his grandfather, Trooper Fred Edwards, served with the 5th South Australian Mounted Rifles. Mr. Barry Vickery, in memory of his great uncle Albert, who served with the 5th South Australian Imperial Bushmen. Albert died at Kronstadt of enteric fever.
Thank you.
We have memory medallions. These medallions are presented to Friends of the Boer War Associations and Friends of the Boer War Federation, and they've come out here to be part of this first tour, to look at the battle sites, visit the graves of those that didn't make it, and be here today on this anniversary. Mr. Norm Landers. Mr. Norm Wood. I think it appropriate now that we have Barry play Waltzing Matilda for us. Thank you very much, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you very much. The city of Tshwane. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and if you'd take our thanks very much back to the city when you return. Thank you. We're going to now vacate this room.